Okay, well, hello guys, and welcome to another live trade room, September 30th, 2014. And of course, I'm Marcello Ducil. Now, what we're going to be looking for today is we're going to be looking for trading opportunities based upon our September 29th calls. Okay, so if you look at tribeforex.com in the main home area, you'll see immediately to the right of the home page FX trade signals. Now these trade signals are signals that based upon our analysis of the market, giving the highest probability entries in the market, and basically we use more or less the daily, the weekly, and the monthly charts, and sometimes the 4-hour to determine the overall direction of the market. So for September 29, 2014, we're looking for a euro-dollar sell at 127.38, dollar Swiss buy at 0.9495, pound dollar sell at 1.6280, and New Zealand sell at 0.7800. and a dollar CAD buy at 1.1140. Okay, so how does this work and where do we go with this? Well, the process is actually very, very straightforward. Along with these trade calls, what we've given people is we've given people our software download. So for our software downloads, our objective here is to make the process as streamlined as possible. So beyond the actual trade calls, we also give cause for execution. Okay, we want to execute flawlessly. So in executing flawlessly, we've given a software package, which would be our auto bias and our auto rev. Those of you who are in the 7-day trial, you have access to the auto bias currently. The auto rev you do not have access to quite yet. And so the objective here is that the auto bias or the auto rev is going to take trades for us automatically. Okay. So if we look at our charts here, this is exactly how you're going to do it. This is actually very, very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my chart, auto sell. For instance, we had this is actually my VPS. And I've set this up for you guys because it is a very, very simple process. For those with the 7-day trial, you'll see a screen that looks something very similar to this. At the top, it'll say how many days you have left in your trial. It's going to also say today's video, watch now. And the video is going to pop up. That's a side note. Right now, this account, this 7-day account is on video 2. As soon as I find it. All right, great. So we'll go back to the home page here. We'll look for our calls. We've got a sell at 127.38, buy at 0.9495. So let's look at this sell at 127.38 on the euro dollar. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to, and I'm actually going to simulate this one. I'll go to my euro dollar chart as I'm on right now. I'll simply right click, go to templates, and I'll go to auto rev. That's what we're going to do right now actually. I'm going to go to the right time frame, so I'm going to use M15 for the auto rev. I'm going to choose horizontal line, and I'm going to add 127.38, which is right here, to my charts. Now look, 127.38 is what we believe the market was capable of for the day when we made these calls. So that's 127.38. Then we're going to hit auto sell if that's what we're looking for. We're going to look for a sell on this one. I'm actually going to make this a 1-to-1 ratio. Actually 1-to-2 is great. I'm going to leave it just the way that it is. And hit auto sell. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Now looking in retrospect, there's probably another area that I could have taken this sell. And I could have taken a sell and placed it at another area of support and resistance. And that area of support and resistance obviously is right here, about 127.10. As that was the previous day's low on the 25th anyway. You can see how price came back to that higher low and stopped and really turned back down. Now that would have been good for a small profit, and actually was on a previous day. Now this is stuff that you're going to be able to do for yourself with the AutoRev software. Now what's the AutoRev looking for? The AutoRev is looking for that area of support and resistance that we designate, that you would have used yourself in your own automated trading, in your own mechanical trading, I should say, manual trading. And it's also looking for what we believe to be a high probability reversal candle pattern, which would be for us, the reversal candle would be a reversal hammered formation, which is like this, or a what we call a triple threat formation that looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my chart right now actually. So this is our Forex hammer, which is, we just call it reversal candle. You can see that right there. So if I were to draw a line at what we consider to be previous areas of support and resistance, you can see that price comes right back to that place and really heads down from there. Now that is, it stops right on this reversal candle. Now there's another formation that is effective, as I said before, and it's called the triple threat. You're going to notice that price turned at that area as well. And there you have it, right there. So 27.10 was a past area of support and resistance. As you can see, the price used it as a floor. And now it's being used as a ceiling. It's been used as an area of resistance. Price comes back up to it, forms a nice reversal candle, and heads back downward. That's good for at least a 2-to-1 ratio as far as profitability is concerned. And on the reversal candle, the very same thing. Now these are the cues that we're going to use. The automated software will look for this reversal candle, look for your support or your resistance area, and will take a buy or a sell at that area. This by itself is a powerful, powerful tool toward your success as a trader. So going back to today where we're at, okay, we've actually hit on the dollar Swiss. I'm going to go back to my D1 here. We bounced down already down to that area that we would consider support and resistance. We decided to take a buy here because we are in an uptrend. Now we did have a doji formation which could go anywhere, but it gives us great opportunities for a buy. A buy would be a high probability area for us to look to. So I'm going to put an auto rev on the chart here. And we were looking at buys at 0.9495, which would put us right here. And you can see here that we actually had a triple threat formation. The question is, did we get close enough? Yeah, we could have gotten close enough here on this auto rev from a 5-bar standpoint. Yep, 5 pips. So what we're looking for, guys, is that we'd have already missed this opportunity. I think it's going to come back down and give us another shot at it, perhaps. So we may be able to get in on this one. And what you're looking for is a simple 1-to-1 ratio on stop loss to take profit. So I'm going to leave that on auto buy here to see if it gives us another shot at it. If it comes back down here. All right, so we're looking for the same thing here on the pound dollar. I'm going to put my auto rev here. That's what we're here for. We want to see the auto rev work. We're actually looking for a sell right at these previous lows, 162.78, 162.80. So I'm going to put my line there. Going to look for an auto sell. And for the sake of time, obviously, I'm going to use TP factor of 1 so we can get in and get out of this trade together. Bond, I know that we talked about using the auto bias. I know that. All right, so let me go down the line here. So 162.80 on the auto sell. We got auto sell on the pound dollar. Dollar yen, we did not have a call. We're not trading the yen pairs today. And look, guys, you're going to get into some trades, especially because you're going to get into some trades and they're going to give you opportunities and you need to be able to get back in sometimes. We're going for 5-to-1 ratios generally on the second position. You know, this is kind of the area that we want to get into. So look, on this New Zealand dollar, for instance, we were looking for 0.7800. So this is where that puts us at, right? 0.7800. So you would get into a trade and would get you into a trade right here. And this is kind of a big one, 26 pips. Massive. perhaps. This is probably, or probably would have, or probably will get us into a sell right here, right where we are. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get into that trade right now, if it gives us an opportunity. I'm going to go 1-to-1 just because we want to be able to see if we can get in, get out on this trade. I'm going to put auto sell. I'm going to put a line on my chart. Look, our sell trigger appears. So if price breaks the low of this triple threat 3 here, then we're going to get into a sell trade at 0.7800. That's what we're looking for. This is a beautiful example. Thanks for bringing that up, Bond. That's perfect. If it does come down, it's going to give us an opportunity for a sell. So we'll be watching that one. Now, we're going to be trading the auto rev today. There's also another one called the auto bias. Auto bias is more conservative, and if you're just getting started, it's really where you want to start. You want to start with the auto bias, just to get used to it. Okay, and it's going to allow you to make profits. They're not going to be as marked or as aggressive as the auto rev per se, but you'll be making profit if you follow the system. And this is what this is all about. All right, so we're right there waiting for a sell opportunity on the New Zealand. We're going to take whatever comes up first. We have no euro yen, no dollar yen, so they should both be off. Pound yen is off. Dollar CAD, we do have an opportunity. We're going to be looking for a buy. So I'm going to go down to a lower time frame. And we're kind of in that area. Looking for a buy at 1.1140. You can see that market already came to that, so we're not going to get a shot at it here. Guys, it's really that simple, really straightforward. So I'm going to go back to our trade opportunities, see if anything's going to give us a shot. We got nothing yet. So for me personally, we have a setup on the euro dollar at 127.38. I bet we could probably get a 1-to-1 ratio on the euro dollar at TP factor right back at 127.10 again if it does come back to that area. But really 127.38 is a really good area for us to look for it. 0.9495 is where we're looking for a bounce here on the dollar Swiss. And the pound dollar. Now guys, you can use a horizontal line or a trend line. If you put this wherever your pods are, it's going to pick up your pods as well. So when you become more comfortable with the auto rev, auto bias, you're going to be able to use both trend lines and horizontal areas of support and resistance, so horizontal lines as well, horizontal and trend lines. All right, so we're closest to, we don't have an Aussie dollar either, so I'm going to separate this one, pull it out, put it with our euro, our yen pairs. All right, so the closest thing that we have is the New Zealand dollar. Our goal, guys, is always to take every trade that we get that's in line with our trade rules. That's going to give us the highest probability of success. Now, probability does not mean certainty. Just because we have an opportunity does not mean that it's going to be successful every single time. So keep that in mind, going with the right mindset. If you take right action, over time you're going to have the right results. You'll hear me say that every single live trade room that I'm in. That's what this game is about. So by now, guys, we're getting very close to taking this New Zealand dollar. We're not taking it. The software is. Try Forex Auto Rev. I'm going to So last week when we did this trade room, I don't remember what it was that we took. Do you remember, Bond? We ended up taking some trade. I'm not sure exactly what it was. We ended up closing it out for profit, though. We know that. Right, it was a euro dollar. Thank you, Nino. We sold at the double zeros. We're getting close, guys, to an entry here. Not quite, but we're close. Because I just set it up, Bond, that's why. And I don't see a triple threat. When did you set yours up? So yeah, there's a triple threat there. Yeah, good. It would have taken a triple threat formation right here. So you're right. So my question for you is, have you been taking the auto bias trades I asked you to? Just part of this, guys, is it's not even, a part of right action is being in the right state. And I'm no psychologist, and that's not my job. But what I found is that we kind of get in the way of ourselves sometimes, including myself. So what I like to do is, if I feel as though I'm not really, getting enough winners, what I'll do is I'll go back to the auto bias, be more conservative, get a few wins under my belt on that currency pair, and then I'll end up heading back. That's what I end up doing. All right, so this New Zealand dollar is still not, it's not taking just yet. It's not convinced. This is why we use this as confirmation. When it does drop down, it's going to be ready to go. And we're looking for a 1-to-1 ratio. So we're probably looking for about 10.5 pips on that New Zealand dollar. Probably about 13 pips to cover the spread. If it does break, now it's got 3 bars the way that we have it set up right now. It's got 3 bars to hit that. Oh, it looks like it's much bigger than that. Of course, it's about 20 pips. So we need 20 pips for it to hit. Now look guys, we've got 3 bars from the formation of the pattern for us to get into this trade. So we've got 1, 2, 3 bars, and if it doesn't break the low here and give us confirmation of the market's intention to be a sell, then this formation will not take. All right, we will not get into a sell according to the software. Now you have the ability to change that yourself, mind you. There are inputs here for that. Entry candles after pattern. That's what it's going to look for. It's going to look for, and we've got it set to 3. Oops, there I go. And I want it to be 1-to-1 ratio. So another thing that I like to say is do not use the same charts for analysis as you use for execution. It's going to be problematic because you'll have lines on the chart, you'll change time frames, then all of a sudden your auto rev begins to act differently. It's going to look at those lines and consider a buy or sell. You can't say, oh, I'm just kidding. No, it's looking for that line to consider whether it's at an area of support and resistance. Take a buy or a sell. All right, so look, one of these bars did not break the low. All right, so we did not break the threshold, so we're looking for a sell to jump into the next opportunity. So last week we did a euro-dollar sell at the double zeros. Double zeros is considered to be one of our areas of support and resistance. It's a pod. All right, that's a great question. So one question that we have is, how do you set up your charts? Is that what you're asking there, is how do I set up my charts for trading? Looking for, it needs some guidance for looking for setups? Is that what you're asking? Okay, so really, Bond, it's really simple, and I think that, so I've asked people to whoever wants to take this course, that I would support them in that. But a lot of trading has nothing to do with the course itself. Like, you're more than, it's not about intelligence, really isn't. I mean, you're brilliant. I know that for years. As you've followed me this entire time and we've done this together, it's not about intelligence. It really comes down to, getting out of your own way. Trading itself is actually very simple, is what I discovered for myself. So for what I discovered for myself was trading was very simple, but that I was complicated. So for me, what I'm looking for in a trade setup is I'm looking for, I'm simply looking for walls. You know, you look in your house, you don't walk through the walls, right? You go around them because you know that if you run into a wall, you're going to bounce off of it. Somehow, though, we tend to not look at the markets that way. The market has walls just like everything else. It is extremely that way based. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I mean that I'm only looking for support and resistance. That's it. You know, it's very, very simple. I'm looking for support and resistance, and I'm looking for trending opportunities. And if the market is trending, it's like a freight train, and not very little is going to stop it, right? And that's what we've been witnessing over the last few weeks, is a freight train. So when the market wants to go in the direction it wants to go, which is a trend, so I'm looking at support and resistance and trending. So here we have the dollar CAD that we're looking for to sell at roughly about 178.00, right? And I've chosen that's in line with my trend. So actually, let me go to another chart here. So I'm going to choose, for instance, a euro dollar chart. I'm going to set it up the way that I like it. So I'm going to go to, I have my strong pods, which I like to use. And strong pods are powerful because they really do tell us where the market is most likely to go. Now you can see here at 127.00, we had a bounce of the market off of 127.00 already. Number one, it's a double zeros. Number two, it's a pod 3 stronger. That's an area of support and resistance. You're going to notice that price has turned at all of our areas of support and resistance, and that was one of ours. Okay, there's a lot of reasons why that double zeros was chosen. We have, we have a low here on September 25th, our last move, major move, right? So when price tried to put an anchor in and then price broke that low, that was going to be considered an area for us to look at. And that actually went down to 126.95, so 127.00. You can see these two once again confirmed that, confirmed again as price was willing to sell off of that area. And now once again we have this very small reversal candle / doji, which shows us a sell opportunity here on at the pod 3 stronger. Okay, so it's a 127.00 area, which is a double zeros. We also have a, it's been used as an area of support and resistance just by price action, giving us highs, lows, and closes there, most importantly. And so you can see it again. So if I were to go down to a lower time frame, go down to my M15, I can see the same activity, right? So this was where our anchor was from the market previously on September 25th. As we go into September 26th, the market uses this area right here, anchors itself, and then continues to move down. As we get into September 29th, we can see the market comes back up, uses that as an anchor again, drops down off of it, forming a reversal, a triple threat, and then again a triple threat again. This is actually a reversal candle that we could have used as well. And now it's throwing a triple threat for us here. Looking like it wants to move down already. So now, can we be assured of price action moving in any direction? We cannot be assured of anything in this market, or any market for that matter. What we can do is we can look at probability, and the probability is strong that price will continue to do what it's done historically, which is it's going to represent those areas of support and resistance, or it's going to trend. And so that's what we look for. It's very, very simple, as long as you don't overdo it and don't do things that continually sabotage you. So I have actually recommended a course to all of my traders, and I think I've had, I don't know, maybe I've had 20 people, I've had 50 people actually go through this course, and it has nothing to do with trading whatsoever. It has to do with life. It's about getting out of the way of yourself so that you can be effective. And I found for myself after I took the course that my performance actually increased dramatically. And my traders who have taken this course, their performance has increased dramatically as well. The ones who have already taken it. In fact, not just in the realm of trading, but in general, in life in general, they've had massive increases in their own performance. So it's called the Landmark Forum. And what I did is I actually offered scholarships to people to be able to do this program. I've actually paid for a lot of people to do this program as well, because it so powerfully impacts your life and your ability to perform at high levels, that I know that's why I recommend it to the people in this audience as well. So I've taken it, and I recommend that other traders take it as well. It's called the Landmark Forum. And if you guys do take it, let me know that you've taken it, because it will dramatically increase your performance, dramatically, in every area of your life. That's what I've witnessed in myself, and I've witnessed in my other traders that had areas that historically did not move. Those areas began to move after the Landmark Forum. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know that, and I'll do whatever I can to support you in that as well, because I believe in it that much, and it can really give you that push, push in an area that historically has not moved, or if you've plateaued in any area where you're looking for a breakthrough in those areas. So that's not what I'm here for today, but you know, I'm a big advocate of that program, because I know the power that you possess when you get out of your own way. So that's that. So looking here, guys, really simple support and resistance, and that's it. So what we're looking at. It's really that simple. Really, guys, there are three legs, and I talk about it all the time, about the trading performance triangle. Really powerful concept. I'm actually going to bring it up. I wasn't expecting to, but this is in line with what I was talking about. There's a concept I call the trading performance triangle. I've been wanting to do some training on it for you guys, for everyone here. And I'm going to bring it up briefly. I've used it in some marketing materials, and I'm actually writing a book on it because it is powerful. And, you know, this is basically the gist and the thrust of the trading performance triangle. There are actually three legs to the trading performance triangle. If you are doing all three of these things at any given time, you're going to most likely be extremely profitable, right? Most likely be extremely profitable. So, and if you witness a loss of power in your trading, meaning that, you know, if you get a loss, that's just a part of the game. You know, sometimes we're going to take trades, they're not going to go the way that we want them to. That's just the way that it is. But over time, if you're witnessing a loss of power, which means you're having, you know, more losses than wins, and your equity curve is going below that which has historically been accustomed to as far as your trading strategy is concerned, you know, you're witnessing drawdowns that you're not accustomed to witnessing in your strategy, then you've got to look at these three areas: trading integrity, strategy, and execution. So first of all, we know strategy. You've got to make sure that you have a strategy that is high performance, high probability, and is currently working at that time, right? So I focus on that a lot. I do a lot of algorithmic trading, a lot of algorithmic analysis to make sure that our strategies are functioning and that they are still winning. They're on the right side of this thing. So the market's still with us. Strategy. So strategy is important. Now your strategy is broken, then obviously nothing else is going to work here, right? So your strategy has got to be strong, and it's got to work. And then there's execution, which means that you have to, that's where the rubber hits the road, and you have to be able to take trades according to your strategy, right? This is why we use automation. Automation is going to take those trades for us flawlessly, and it's going to take it for us every time, and it's not going to have emotion about it. It's just going to take the trades for us. And so that's execution. But down here is what we call trading integrity. And trading integrity is super important, and a lot of people lack that, and that's why people lose money in the markets. So let's talk about that. Trading integrity is actually doing what you said you would do. You have a plan and you actually trade it. Now, that believe me, that sounds simple enough as it is, but it's not that simple. And the reason why most traders lose money, 90% of traders lose money, is because 90% of traders trade the exact same way. They are given to reacting to stimuli, and that's what the market makers use to control this market and to continually really extract pips from people's accounts. What do I mean by that? Well, the market maker will drive price up in such a way that you will believe that price is going to continue to move up. And exactly when you have hit that sell button or closed out your sell trade, that's when the market maker will take it down. When you hit that buy button or close out your sell trade, that's when the market maker will kind of pull back on that joystick, and price will all of a sudden start falling. And you'll think to yourself, how did they know that? You'll think to yourself, they're looking at my one little account. They're not looking at your one account. They're looking at the cumulative body and the reaction of most traders. They're going to react in the same way. So 90% of traders react in the exact same way, and this is just not trading. It's actually life. And so this is how most people react in life. So the traders who actually do well have mastered themselves. Once again, I'm getting back to this program, Landmark Forum. It's an excellent program for people who want to be able to master areas of themselves so they can master life itself. So trading integrity is super important. People lack that because of their relationships with themselves. But when you have a plan and you're able to execute it, that's the baseline. Now, I've seen people have a working strategy. I've given people a working strategy, and I've given them a way to execute it. And I've watched in 2012 as I had the same strategy, same automation, and I traded it in front of people for 8 months. I saw as most traders made money with the strategy, was the STP, Swing Trader Pro. And over those 8 months, we were able to get a result of 129.9%, okay, in that 8-month time period. So we took a $150,000 account to over $344,000, almost $345,000, and we witnessed as some traders actually lost money during that time period using the same exact strategy, same exact broker, and the same exact automation. How is that possible? It's trading integrity. They turned off the software when they were supposed to leave it on, and that sort of thing. This is what people do. And it's very human, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being human. But there's something that's required to be a trader, because only 10% of traders actually have the emotional integrity, but the emotional intelligence to do this, and a level of trading integrity to be effective in these areas. So that's a really, really good lesson, and that's where I came up with the trading performance triangle, because I realized that it's not just a strategy, it's not just execution. There's another component, and it's actually foundational to your success, which is called trading integrity. And if you get those together, then you're going to be successful. And if you feel a lack of power in your trading, that's where it's coming from. It's coming from one of these legs is broken. It's just you need to find what area is actually lacking and add it in. All right, so here's another great question. I hope that you got something from that. Really powerful concept. I'm going to do some training on it at some point. It's just a very powerful concept and will put you in the realm, in the world of trading success and just consistency, overall consistency. Okay, so big move down on the euro dollar. Let's take a look at our New Zealand, see if we have a shot at it. All right, what happened here? We did not trigger. Something happened. We should have triggered that trade. I think that it considered this last leg as a no take. That's what happened there. All right, so our New Zealand triggered. And on the auto bias, we would have been in that trade, by the way, mind you. Yep, and I'm looking at my auto bias. My auto bias did get into that trade. Yeah, this auto rev should have taken. All right, so we actually have two trades that we got into with auto bias, and those two trades are the New Zealand and the dollar CAD. Actually three, and the dollar Swiss. We took a buy on the dollar Swiss, took a sell on the New Zealand dollar. What's lovely about this dollar Swiss is that the dollar Swiss actually has a nice reversal candle. It was a buy reversal candle that you could have taken there. Now you see how big my stop loss is on this auto bias. If you wanted to just kind of tweak it and get to profitability, you could have taken this on the auto rev with the reversal candle, nice triple threat formation across the board. Just really good opportunity there for a quick 1-to-1 ratio. So I think because we had two bars there is why that New Zealand didn't take. I've got a new version of the auto rev that's coming out, guys. It will be less bugged, if you will. Okay. So you can see price is already moving up in our direction on these pairs. Here's another trick for you guys if you like this idea. What I like to do is I like to copy my trades to another account. So there are a couple things that you're going to want to do as a trader, especially as you begin to trade bigger. You're going to want to trade your accounts in such a way that your psychology doesn't get in the way. So what I'll do is I'll have one account and it'll feed the other accounts. And there's actually a trade copier that works well as long as you don't use it on too many pairs. You know, I try to use it for a few hundred people and it doesn't work well for that. But there's but if you want to use it for just a few accounts, like 3, 4, 5, 10 accounts, it works wonderfully for that. I can give that, guys, to you. This works well too because you can have a smaller account which you look at and it doesn't bother you psychologically, and it can feed much bigger accounts, right? And it will use the same exact money management. So if you have 1% risk on, say, a $5,000 account, it's going to be 1% risk on a $1 million account or a $500,000 account, whatever else it is. So you're not freaking out over the numbers of it. It's another trick. Works really well. Okay, so basically, guys, we have at a euro dollar set at 127.38. We could have easily backed that off and really taken a trade at 12700, as I mentioned before. The dollar CAD, as you can see, continues to move up. And look at that. That euro dollar just moved down very, very nicely. To get to a 1-to-1, it's going to drop just a little bit more, and then it will have reached a 1-to-1. Although, of course, we have measures in place. We have 10.5 pips minimum there, so it would be slightly above that. So we have to reach 10.5 pips on the lower side too. Got a new version of the auto rev that's coming out, guys. You can see that the New Zealand dollar continues to move down nicely. And I think what happened is that my sell trigger, which was in place, we were just 2 bars outside of that, and I think it counted this one as a 3rd bar. So I have a new version that's actually coming out soon. But that was our trade. Now you can take that manually, of course. Yep. No flaw here. It's just algorithmic. And so that's what it's about as well. You got to really get in the world of performance. And the world of performance dictates that if there is something like this that happens, you figure out what it is, put structures in place to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So for me, it's getting in the code and really figuring out, what it was there. We have a new version of the auto rev that's coming out, and I will be looking at this specifically. I think that it's covered in the new version that I'll be replacing it with. So we had a sell on the New Zealand, so we can see that where we lacked in one, we're actually able to pick up with another on the auto bias. Auto bias is really straightforward. I actually have a new version of the auto bias 2, which is more robust as well. I have a new version of both of these softwares, so I'm really excited about leaving with you guys. But like I said, here's another opportunity. It could have been this dollar Swiss. Nice reversal candle there. Buy. You can see that's nicely pushing up. That's you could have easily taken a trade there. Now look, it's going to be smaller profit here on this dollar Swiss, but it's also easier money. It's a very gradual and very steady move to the upside. And that's kind of what you want. That's what I like, me personally. Dollar CAD came close to the mark. It's very, very close to that. Actually came down 1138, so that would be a very good place for it to have taken. All right, guys, so we're going to watch these trades and watch as they come up. Now, Bond's got a question. Thanks very much for your contribution, Bond. I really appreciate it. And, guys, whatever questions you have, it's a contribution to the entire group. So, we love questions. There's no stupid questions. So your pods are different than mine. Yeah, so pods are going to be based upon the feed that you have. So sometimes pods are different. So for instance, my platform is very similar to Nino's platform, one of them, and yet on my between these two, which have different feeds, I actually have different pods that are set up here, which is very interesting. It's interesting to me as well. But that's how it works sometimes. So we'll watch this New Zealand trade anyway, and the dollar Swiss. And what we notice about our trades is that they don't go down. They're not going to go straight down. They meander, go back and forth here. And what it's going to do is it's going to make you doubt your trades. It's going to make you pull out of trades, which is why we use automation. Hey, hold on, guys. Be back. All right, sorry guys. Here I'm back. I'm actually in Cornwall, in the UK with some family now. So it's great to be here, and it's great to be able to do this work on the go. And I think this is why we do what we do, is just to be able to have that kind of freedom to live where we want to and still make a living and still be able to move forward. So the kids just got up. So anyway, what we have here is we have our triggers. So we have our areas of support and resistance, plus obviously our two reversal patterns, what we find to be high probability, and you can see price really dropping and moving in the direction that we expected it to, and that's how that looks. Now, there's a meandering in price. It never quite goes down in the same direction. Now, sometimes it does, but very rarely does it. And so you're going to see it meander, and this is the part that that I don't have a tremendous amount of patience for. So this is why I love the automation, which enters the trades for me, manages those trades, moves or gets us out of the first position, moves to break even, moves our trailing stops forward, and eventually gets us out of the trade for profit. That's the plan anyway, right? So that's what we're looking for more of. So Bond's got a question here. So the pods do not affect trading triggers. It's still the TT and Rev that will trigger in the autos. Okay, so let's talk about that. So the auto Rev, for instance, the auto Rev is going to look for two things. It's going to look for those pods. Okay, it's going to look for those points of decision, which you're going to designate with a horizontal line on your chart. Okay, and it's also going to look for the triple threat formation, which we have here, or the reversal candle. So it's got two triggers, and it's looking for two criteria principally to be able to take a trade automatically. So those are the two things that we're actually looking for. Now, the auto bias, on the other hand, is only looking for price to actually get to that area. That's why it's more conservative. It's not as precise as the auto Rev is. Auto Rev has an exact place where we find an anchor in the market. That anchor is confirmed with our reversal signals. Okay, and that reversal signal, it forms an anchor for us where price says, hey, I've had enough, I'm not selling any further, I'm going to move for a buy. So that's some form of a manifestation of that, and that's why we can use a smaller stop and look for price to be able to move forward, because we have confirmation. So technically in the auto Rev, you actually have three confirmations. Number one, you have the initial pod, point of decision. Two, you've got the reversal candle, which forms an anchor at that point, whether it be a triple threat or a hammer formation or reversal candle. And then lastly, it's also going to show us an intention of the market to move in that direction with a confirmation by breaking the low or the high of that reversal candle formation, moving in the direction of that reversal candle pattern. Okay, so really that's why we're able to take them so tightly and really be able to make a 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1 ratio. If you watch my FX case studies that we just did on the currency pair that we chose, I believe it was, I want to say it's the dollar CAD trade that we had last week Friday. That's what we highlighted in our FX case studies video today. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It was short and actually very, very good. But really that's what it came down to. It really comes down to, being able to take that very precise entry, and that allows us to leverage much higher and get a 5-to-1 ratio. We had a 5.5-to-1 ratio as far as reward to risk there. And so that's what you're looking for. So you can afford to get one loss or two on these currency pairs from time to time. It's okay. You'll be fine. because you're going to make it back with the precision of an auto rev. Now the auto bias, the way that it works, it's wonderful, is because auto bias is just looking for price to get to that one area. And when it gets to that area and actually crosses that threshold, it automatically executes a trade. Now it's taking that trade based upon just the pod, the points of decision, which make it, it's still accurate, has an 80 to 85% win ratio considering those things, but it's less volatile. It's not going to get stopped out. Price will continue to move up or down in your direction or against you, and you're still able to profit, hopefully. So if the market goes up against you, you're still able to get into, you're still able to hold that trade, and then when eventually the market goes in our direction, we close it out for profit wherever it is, if we don't hit our take profit. Okay? And so that's the difference between them. Both of them use pods, which are designated by your horizontal, your trend line on the chart, but the TT and the Rev the auto Rev will use the TT and the Rev as a confirmatory signal to get into it. And that's why we can use greater leverage on the auto Rev. So it's a little bit more aggressive. So that's why I consider the auto Rev to be more aggressive and the auto bias to be conservative. And what I like about the auto bias is, by the way, is that you can just sit back. It really is a trade that doesn't require a tremendous amount of effort, intellectual effort, emotional effort. You set it, you forget it, you let it run, and you come back at the end of the day and you see where it stands. And sometimes you're up big, sometimes you're down slightly, or you're up, you've hit the stop loss, whatever it is. It just runs and it'll do that, and there's a lot less of an emotional trigger there. And what we do is really emotional, which is why I love the automation and why I am given to algorithmic trading. But there's nothing that's going to do a better job at analyzing the market than the gray matter between these ears. That's what I found for myself. So we have done a lot of automated stuff. Those of you who've been with me for years, you know that we've done full automated systems with, that determine the bias completely based upon, whatever scenario. No human interaction whatsoever. But I found that for me, I discovered that really there's nothing that's been better than my discretionary trading. Determining the bias is myself, and then letting this software execute. It just doesn't get better than that. That's what I found for myself. Hold on, guys. I'm going to get my my squawk box open here. See if there's any news in the market. Okay, so we've got adverse movement here against the New Zealand. As you can see, didn't quite get to our take profit of a 1-to-1, which we were looking for 20 pips. And as I said, it was going to be a meandering. So we're going to wait and see what happens there. The good thing about this pair is that we did get a 1-hour anchor as well, I believe. Get rid of this euro yen because it's not going to serve us today. Yeah, so we did have a triple threat formation and what looks like a reversal candle as well. So we'll wait and see. Looks like it's going to be a kind of an IBO, an inside breakout kind of formation. One massive buy candle followed by sell by inside bars. Then we're going to see a breakout of that. That's what it looks like. So we'll just wait for it. Awesome, Greg. Great. Glad to have you on. I'm Marcello Ducil, and you will see me basically all around the site. You'll also see a lot of Bond. You'll see a lot of Fred. You'll see a lot of Nino. You'll see a lot of other traders. There are hundreds of traders that are trading with us here. Glad to have you here. Enjoy the trial. And what we're doing is we're actually doing a just a full sweep. This is what we generally do. We're going to run our software and let it take for us. And we do these live trading sessions. Right now it's currently Tuesdays. Everyone trades, and if you look on the actual website tryforex.com, you'll notice that there's a live trade chat. And so people generally continually take trades in that trade chat based upon the trade calls that we have or based upon their own trade calls using the algorithms that we have in place to execute. So it's really that simple. It's really what that looks like. And we're thinking about extending it. We used to have them back Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we found them to be unnecessary because of the automation. And really now it's just an opportunity to connect with people that we do it on Tuesdays so that, you know, whoever has a question, they can get a voice to it. But of course, everyone's always on the website as well. We stay connected. And actually, some of the newer members have actually asked for a trading session Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we'll talk to some of the senior members of the site and see if they're willing to take on some of that as well. And we'd probably be able to do, something like that. Do both the London and the New York session. I actually I'm not generally up for them, as I set my signals, set up my charts, and let them run for themselves. I really don't have to be up for them both. If I'm up for the New York session, then I will trade it. I'll put a little extra in it, but the software is going to be running for itself. Great. Thank you. Amen to that, brother. Yeah, that's why I designed it. One of the reasons I designed the software. Two reasons, actually. Number one is so that I initially designed software so I could analyze the market properly, crunch enough numbers over years to determine what actually worked. It's the number one reason that I designed software or trading software. The secondary reason, or I would say probably a byproduct of that, was execution. Being able to execute flawlessly every time, because you can't do that as a human being. You've got to sleep at some point. We have a 24-hour a day, 5.5 day week. So 24-hour a day, 5.5 days per week market that doesn't and will not allow us to, we just can't trade it all, right? So the benefit. That's my squawk box. I'm going to turn it off, actually. Okay. We actually had negative news for the UK, for Europe. Yet prices continue to move up. We'll see where that goes. All right, so in designing the software, what we had was an ability to take trades, execute flawlessly, and to do so consistently. And that really covered a trading gap that we had, and certainly a lot of traders have, is the ability to consistently execute. With a 24-hour a day, 5.5 day a week market, you just can't do it. And then, of course, people who start with jobs, as I did, wouldn't be able to do that. To make that transition, it's going to require some form of an automated software. Furthermore, for me personally, I don't want to stay up all night. So this allows me to live life, set up my charts generally in about 5 to 10 minutes per day. You add my analysis in, I probably do about an hour a day total. And then I set up my charts and let them run, and I come back to them at the end of the day again. And that's the kind of lifestyle I want to live. I want to be able to travel, spend time with my family. So that's what's important to me. Because if it's not about that, then what is it about? So that's really why we came up with the software, and why I designed my first version of the software. But what I found is that using the automation, it really covers effectively the execution leg of the trading performance triangle, and gives us a tremendous opportunity to have long-term success. Okay, so the CAD dropped here. Looks like there's some dollar weaknesses being expressed here. We're going to watch for that. We're going to watch how that develops. Got the dollar Swiss and the dollar CAD. We're just going to have to watch how it develops, guys. New Zealand, dollar Swiss, dollar CAD, euro dollar. You got to watch your emotions around this trade bond. And just, in general, this is normal. This is what people encounter. So once again, guys, September 29th, we called a sell on the euro dollar at 1.2738, dollar Swiss buy at 0.9495, pound dollar sell at 1.6280, and a New Zealand sell at 0.7800, and a dollar CAD buy at 1.1140. Okay? We're going to look for those to play out. Okay, so the New Zealand dollar 15-minute auto rev broke the high there, hit the stop loss. So now we're looking at a dollar CAD, and the anchor on the dollar CAD H1 actually got taken out. We'll see how the market reacts and where it goes from there. We've got all sorts of stuff to anchor the dollar CAD as well. The overall trend being for dollar strength, obviously, and from technical standpoint, the Bollingers. We've got double zeros, Bollingers. We've got different pods that are there in place. So we'll watch and see how what direction the market's going to move in with that. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think that could be good. Looking at it, it's definitely an area of support and resistance. I think 12700 could hold. We'll see if it forms a reversal candle there. My official call is at 1.2738 on a sell on the euro dollar. All right, so I'm going to step out just for a second, and I'll be back. Let's see. Nino, are you on the call? I know you're there.
Yes, Marcello, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Thank you. All right, so what I'm seeing is I think I'm seeing great. All right, so we've got this, we've got everything in place. I'm going to kind of leave it with you for now. Um, I think I've answered most of the questions, but I think we're set to do a 2-hour session. But you can take it, you can play it by ear and take it as far as you'd like to take it there. And then we'll be back in the New York session for sure and see how all of this develops and what trading opportunities we have there. Greg, probably, because we're in the middle of the 7-day trial, I've been swamped with this campaign, but I've already got it prepared. I'm doing some more testing on it on both versions of the software, and I'm probably most likely going to release it tomorrow or the day after. So in the next couple of days, it's probably going to be released. No problem. Nino, do you have this now? I recommend probably doing another 30-minute session or so, 30 minutes or so, and then going from there. Unless you feel like you'd like to stick around, but I don't think it's necessary. Are you there, Nino? Hello?
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. All right, great. So it's all yours.
Okay, I'm gonna need control so I can my screen.
Great. But good, guys, think about it this way. And really, this is where you want to be. You want to be in this place with where Nino is as a senior member, being able to take this over and really be able to be a contribution to the rest of the community. And many of you have that ability right now to do that. If you stick around long enough, you'll be able to really be able to support me and support this community, really be a contribution to the people around you by taking over these trade rooms that we do here. So, no, thank you, Bond, your contribution. Thank you so much for asking the questions that you have and really just being all in on this. This is what it takes. And I think that there's going to be, I think those trades are still going to be great. And that's why I really like the auto bias. Auto bias has got us right solidly in this trades and settled in, not really worrying about just a few pips of movement. All right, Nino, take it away, brother. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you guys in the New York session.
Did you give me control?
Yeah, you've got it. Now. You got it confirmed?
Yes.
Okay.
I just confirmed.
Awesome.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Forex Live Trading Room. Can you guys see my screen? Good morning. Can you see my screen? I'm just checking to make sure that you guys can see my screen since I took over from Marcello. I didn't get any feedback from anyone, so I'm not sure if you can see my screen at this present time. Well, I guess everyone can see my screen. So basically you can see I have my screen up for my euro dollar. And like Marcello said earlier, he has already set up everyone's chart, so everyone should have already placed their lines on the chart where they're looking to take or sell. So the only thing we're going to do right now is basically continue to monitor the trades to see exactly what's going on with each currency pair. But looking at some of these pairs, like Marcello said, you basically might see a trade being taken until the New York session. I'm still wondering if you guys can see my chart. I asked if you can see the chart now. No one has responded, so I don't know if my chart is being displayed to you guys or not. So basically we can see that on the euro dollar, we're getting somewhat of another railroad track setup formation right off of the trend line, off of this daily trend line. And we should be able to hopefully maybe see a sell right off of this range right here. You can see that the dollar Swiss pushed down. Now we can see this candle is basically pushing prices is trending back to the upside. If you have your auto wrap set up for the dollar Swiss, you should be able to get into this trade here. Basically, price actions is within 3 pips away from key entry at 94.95, 0.9495. So we might get a buy trigger here on the dollar Swiss. I don't have too much going on in the market right now. On the pound dollar, we can see that we're getting somewhat of a triple threat formation right here at our key area where we want to get into this trade. And that's at 162.80. Okay, you can basically see we have a triple threat candle right here on the pound dollar, and it's right at our target entry point at 62.80. So once price breaks that low, we should be able to get into this pound dollar trade. So we're set up on a nice range here for the pound dollar. We're just gonna wait and see basically what price action does. Let's see if we basically have a push down, and once we break that trigger, we should be able to get into a pound dollar sell here. Dollar Swiss is somewhat in range, like I said. It's about 3 pips away from our key point of entry that we're looking for. So we should be able to get into that trade as well. So give me a second, guys. My Dollar CAD just froze up on me. Some reason my auto rev keeps shutting down on me. We just have another railroad track type setup on the New Zealand dollar. We're looking for a sell at 7,800, so we're basically right in that range. Pound dollar, we should be basically seeing price breaks down, should break that trigger point, and we should get into this pound dollar sell. Dollar Swiss isn't really going anywhere at the moment. No, it's the euro dollar. So we're just basically just sitting there waiting to see what price action is going to do. So we'll just sit and wait and see how price action reacts here on the dollar Swiss. We're looking for the dollar Swiss to basically trend to the downside, basically breaking our sell trigger to get us into this trade. You can see my key entry here on the dollar Swiss. We have a nice triple thread candle set up, and now we're just waiting for price to continue to trend to the downside. Does anyone have any questions at the moment? We should be able to get into this New Zealand trade as well. Okay, we should be close to getting into this pound dollar trade. Did anyone get into the New Zealand trade? Okay, we can see some retracement here on the euro dollar. As well as some retracement on the dollar Swiss as well. Pound dollar looks like it wants to sell off, looks like it wants to continue to trend down. We just have to wait and see. Let's see if I can get my dollar CAD back up. Alright. I can this out of the room. Did anyone get into the pound dollar trade? Having a little bit of technical difficulties here. Not too sure what's going on with my system at the moment.